Hello! We have our cast and a friend hanging out after our final hangover performance of Punk Grandpa with 2016 Frigid New York. We're going to go around and just say a favorite memory from the experience. Starting with Bree Klauser, one of our ensemble members.
Hello! So, one of my favorite memories was at one of our later rehearsals. It was kind of, I think it was the last rehearsal before our show, but it was after our tech. And Mitchell's embarrassed already, and because this is like we were all kind of in like a really sleepy mood that day. Laura was running the rehearsal, our stage manager wasn't there, and we were just like we were gonna do another run, and we're like, okay, let's get through this, we gotta do it. And then Mitchell brings up a theater game, or if you could even call it that, called Miniature Tanks, in which you get in a circle and you get down on your knees and elbows like this, and you all at the same. I wish we can group demonstrate this. You go in a circle, you go miniature tanks, miniature tanks, and the object is to get across the circle while doing that. And if you get knocked down, you still have to keep doing miniature tanks. We were somewhat successful in achieving this, but I had never laughed so hard in like a really long time. I think that it's one of those you had to be there. So
which I wasn't.
You had to be there. Ken wasn't there. Sorry, Ken or Sarah. But yes,
sure. I don't get to rehearse.
Punk Grandpa will be the show that taught me miniature tanks, and
yes.
I will be sharing miniature tanks for the rest of my life. Thank you, Mitchell.
Thank you, Bree. Now we have Becky Chong, who played Laura in the show.
Hi. I think for me, one of the memories, highlights for the show was just being able to come out and speak with the audience afterwards. You just got to meet so many different people, whether they were people who know Laura or were friends of people in the cast or just like decided to come. And it just was nice to be able to get their reaction from the show. And a lot of them, I think, because I played Laura, just shared a lot with me about how it's just, like I had mentioned before, it's so relatable. And so I just feel like the show really was able to like capture the heart of how a lot of people deal with, sickness, that deal with people that they love and all that stuff. So it was just really awesome to be able to meet with people afterwards and find out like how they were affected by the show. And I felt like it was well received by a lot of different people from all different walks, and so it was really fun.
Thank you. Here's Sarah, a friend of the show.
Hi, and anybody watching this might have even seen the video that Laura posted like yesterday that I did for her for Punk Grandpa 2. That
Punk Grandpa 2?
No, as yet.
Punk Grandma also.
Punk Grandpa 2, back to the streets.
I should choose words better. That's just what I need to do. But I'm gonna give like a double answer rolled into one. One thing I love about the show, since I've seen it twice with this cast and once when Laura did it as a solo show last year in New York, that I love that I got to see both sides and how well it works both with a multi-character cast and as a solo show. But even more importantly than that to me is since I've always been very close to my own grandfather, that being able to see Laura's connection with her grandfather kind of reminds me of my connection to my grandfather. And even though he's been gone for 10 years, interestingly enough, 9 years in the show, it was 9 years that he was gone when I first saw it. But like, even though my grandfather's been gone for a long time, it reminds me of how special my grandfather is to me, and feeling that connection just makes me feel very happy.
Thank you, Sarah. We have Michael Pichardo, one of our ensemble members.
I would say the highlight of this play in general, as far as I'm concerned, is finally expressing my feminine side as both the bank teller and the church lady.
I
Because
thought
to
about
me,
saying that
as far as
too.
I'm concerned, that's straight out of the ordinary from anything that I've ever done. So I would say I reached to a new level.
I like that too. I was really thinking about saying that too.
Thank you. We have Mitchell, one of our other ensemble members.
Hi. I, like Bree, have a memory from a later rehearsal. There was maybe our penultimate rehearsal was in the afternoon, and we were going into this rehearsal space, and there had been it was like a model, like or an acting class of these, like, how old were these children? Like
Single digits.
yeah, like 4 or 5 year olds. We were all deeply uncomfortable. And so it was all these, like, mothers and their children, and they were all, like, dressed to the nines, and, like, in, like, heels, and, like, these, like, dresses and things. And so we all come in, like, they, like, overstayed their time, and we were, like, getting set up, and they were leaving, and it was really weird. And then we start rehearsing, and we start doing this, doing a couple runs, and this girl comes back in, just, like, walks back in the room, and, like, several times, like 2 or 3 times, like, comes and just, like, starts searching around the perimeter of the room, like, while we're doing this, and then we'll just, like, stop and, like, look at us for a while while we're trying to do this run of the show, and then leave. And ostensibly she said she was looking for her cell phone that she had left in there for her iPad.
Blue iPad.
Excuse me, her blue iPad. She said she's looking for her blue iPad.
Come on, get it
this 4 or
straight,
5-year-old girl. But I'm pretty sure that she was just trying to get the scoop so that she could call her agent afterwards and figure out how she did not get an audition to play Laura. So that was my favorite.
Oh my gosh. And we have Ken, our punk grandpa.
I've just had a fabulous time working with all these wonderful actors. I mean, Michael and I have worked together before. Lauren I know for several years. She's wonderful to work with. My punk granddaughter was just amazing. Laura, thank you so much for the words. The whole thing was very touching. One of the things that stood out for me was your family and how they all